can pretty much do anything I want here. Pretty cool. And escape to exit. And you can go to menu to install new ones. Under menu and then add an interpreter. And you can see the different selections here. Ignoring those that you already have installed. Like I already have Perl installed here. So you don't see it here, but you can install Python, Lua, and JRuby, Bean Shell, Tcl for whoever is using it, I don't know who. So yeah. You can see here I have Perl 5.10 when installed. This is the Perl that is already compiled and pre-prepared for Android, and it's part of the SL4A project. And this is a Perl interpreter, and you can do whatever you want here. So, there you go. Now, the Perl interpreter comes with a few scripts, as I've shown. This is the hello world script. I can hold my click on this, the tab, and see that I can either run in the background as a service, I can delete that, I can edit that. If I press edit, unfailingly, it opens a small notepad-like editor. I really hope you're not going to use that. And you can write with it, so, but it's really horrible. In the context menu here, you can see different things like save, and run. There's the API browser. It shows you all the different stuff that you can do. Unfortunately, the documentation here, if you're prepared for pod-like, Perl-style, extensive documentation with examples and synopses and stuff like that, you're not going to get that. Okay? I'm sorry. This is the check ringer silent mode. Basically, checks the ringer silent mode setting. That's it. So, and the return is true if ringer silent mode is enabled. That's it. It doesn't really explain much about that. Unfortunately, it took them a while to understand that some languages don't have true booleans, like such as in Perl, we have 0 or 1. We have like true and false in the sense of what they are and not how they are, or the opposite. Hard to explain. So it took them a while because they didn't really know how to return true or false for Perl, but that was sorted. So you can see the different stuff here. This is also available online for easier viewing. Okay, I'm going to exit this. In order to run them, you can just tap on them, and it's going to run it. And it's going to run make toast, which opens a small pop-up here that fades in and out. You can see here how we ran it. The AP port, that this is a global variable, shell variable that is used inside Perl, I think, in the Android PM. And that's about it. Now, I want to show how to write a small example and how to upload it. So we're going to go here. You can see the different tools. We're going to use the ADB, the Android bridge, Android debug bridge, in order to write a small application. Okay. All right. So if I run ADB, you can just see the different options. It has a lot of different options. It has the, starting from the top, where is it? There you go, /D for direct input to the only connected USB device, E, S, P, a lot of different stuff, devices to view them, connect or disconnect via TCP/IP. You have the push and pull, which is basically the main methods you're going to want. The push sends files over there to the device, and the pull fetches them back out. You have ADB shell, which opens the shell. This is what I'm going to show next. Logcat, forward, a bunch of different stuff, bug report help, and a few things here for scripting, which I haven't really used ever. Networking changes and stuff like that. So I'm going to run the ADB shell, ADB shell, and this is going to start a shell on the currently running device. You probably can't see it on screen, but over here there's sharp. Okay. So ls, and you can see the different folders. If I minimize it a bit, this is more readable. Config, cache, SD card. The SD card, as I've said before, this is where the scripts of AAC or in the next version, SL4A SID. So we're going to go to SD card. Inside we can see last year, we can see download Perl R6, which is the 6th revision of the compiled Perl for Android, which is currently version 5.10.1. Extras, which are basically additional modules that we have there that weren't compiled with Perl, that are provided separately. I've recently added the try tiny there, I don't know, because it's simple and tiny. And Perl scripts, which are incorporated scripts that people write. And we haven't really added a few applications yet, but we're going to in the future. So you will see more and more scripts, and you can add your own if you want. You can just talk to me, and we'll add them.
Can you install modules or?
Modules, you can basically copy them to the correct folder, and I can show where that folder is, and once you copy them, it works, it's in the path. There aren't packages for modules yet, and there isn't cpan running on it, so you can't just run cpan and install it, even though that would be pretty cool. Probably more difficult to do with cpan, maybe be easier with cpan minus, or something like that.
How about C modules?
C modules, XS-based stuff, yeah.
Okay.
Well, the XS-based stuff is a bit more difficult because you have to compile against both ARM processor and the libc that Google is using for Android. It is not using the regular GNU libc because it is GPL'd, and they try not to, as they put it, pollute. Unfortunately, I'm an avid GPL supporter, so it's kind of offensive. But so they don't want to pollute the code base with GPL, so they're using, I think, clibc, which is BSD licensed. So you're going to have to do a bit more work, but we're working on how to do that right now. So I've contacted Pro 5 Quarters recently for help on that. Inside here, you can see also the last entry, which is the AC folder. And inside, you can see extras and scripts. Inside the scripts, surprisingly, you have the scripts. Okay? And inside extras, just for added value, you can see Perl, and inside there's site Perl, and inside that you have try-tiny, JSON PM, Android PM, stuff like that. This is where you would put your modules if you want them. So, getting back there, scripts. So we want to install to /SD card /ASE/scripts. Okay, this is where we're going to upload a small example we're going to write. I'm going to exit this using exit, and then I'm going to write a small example, or open one that I already have written. Strict warnings, of course. Android, my droid, Android new, and droid make toast. Okay? And then we're going to copy it. I'm going to write adb push in order to push the file into the virtual device. And I'm going to pick example PL /SD card /ASE/scripts. And then it's going to copy it there. I can see the result here, 118 bytes in 0.122 seconds. Inside the virtual device here, you can see the example PL, but if you haven't, you can just pick menu and refresh, and you can see it there. Then we can just run it by tapping it, and we're going to see, using make toast, a small fade-in thing here, hello to Perl from Android. One thing I want to show is I've ported the Python script that they have. They had a testing script written in Python, which was really cool. They just showcased different things you could do with it and seeing whether this or that feature would work or not. And I've ported it to TestBuild, which is now shipped with it. Once you run this, you can basically see all the different things that it has and whether they work or not in this specific version. And that's a really good way to test the application. You can see, for example, GData here. This is a small window that came in. This is another one. There's a test here called GData, which failed because it's not implemented yet. This is user interface. We're checking that it works. We can see an alert box with 3 different buttons. This is a spinner progress. This is normal, horizontal progress meter. An alert with a different type of selections, not as buttons. And this is another one. I don't know really what would be the difference, but it exists. And this is a multiple selection. I'm going to pick foo and baz. And that's about it. So you can see all the different stuff that passed. And here, for example, the geocode failed. And there's an error here, Java UI IO exception service not available. I don't know, maybe because it's a virtual device, maybe it's a different version which failed, broke something, I don't know. Here the GData test failed because I haven't really implemented it yet, so I made it fail. Hopefully, well, I'll convert it sometime to tap output, even though there's nothing really that's using tap output here, parsing it or using it, so not much sense in it. The current status of it, I have, I think, what is it, I have 3 minutes? So I'm going to use one to explain the current status of the Perl developments on Android. We have, it started basically with Gabo, who found that the project, I don't know if it was through PerlBuzz or the other services that advertise it, but he was really interested in that, and he got me interested. And one of the good things that he does, if you know Gabo Zabo, he gets you interested in things. He gets you motivated, and you know that's how Perl has happened. So I came in the scene and basically converted some of the scripts, ported a few things, fixed a few bugs in Android PM. I have a commit bit. If you ever want to do some work on it, we can do that. That's not a problem. We can just push it ahead to the project. And recently I've contacted Perl 5 porters in order to try and compile Perl for it on my own. Currently Perl 5.10.1 is running using patches that Jarko wrote and never documented, unfortunately. Except a comment to ignore Perl 5 porters in this specific case. It says if any Perl 5 porters comes along, just tell them that we couldn't integrate it upstream. So I'm making efforts using Kemu to compile myself Perl 13.3 in, and hopefully we'll get there soon. And if you want to help, you're more than invited because I have a ton of work with everything and I don't get to spend the time I want on this. And you're more than welcome to come help with that. That is all. Does anyone have any questions? Yes?
Can you run your scripts from outside, like by tapping an outside icon, or do you always have to go through the interpreter, through the ASE and choose from a list there?
I think that right now you have to do that, I think. I'm not sure. This is how I think it is. But they do work on it quite a lot. The entire ASE team works specifically on this. And two major topics of the APK, and being able to both ship it and once it's shipped to be able to run it, of course, I think it's a part of the APK integration work. Any more questions? Yes?
Performance-wise, how does it compare to
Performance-wise?
something written directly in Java?
It's slower than Java, that's for sure. But it's faster to write, so I guess that's part of the stuff you have. You probably don't want to write extensive, heavy applications with it. I think once they get it integrated, it would be much easier. They get better and integrate it in, and hopefully in the future, I guess like a year, half a year maybe, it would be much faster. And you know, you can just write Perl applications to run in the background if you need services, stuff like that. And that wouldn't have to go through the Java UI and then have like a small UI there that is really simple. You know, work on a design angle. Any more questions? Sure. Yeah.
What is distinguished for the ability to create applications, rather than just displaying doing widgets?
A complete, you mean, like with a total menu and everything?
Perl interface done via the JSON CXS.
Oh, okay. Without
access to some of the features.
You're talking about running it regardless of the SL4A, or yeah, just to run it basically using.
Let's say